in addition to comparing decimals, we will also be required to put them in order from least to greatest. The best way I've found to do this is to write them all vertically and stack them above one another and use that as a method to compare place value like we did earlier. So I'm going to line up the decimal points with each of these numbers. And note that this decimal has 4 places to the right of the decimal point, and each of these only have 3. So I'm going to use an extra 0 on each of them so they all have 4 decimal places. Now I will move from left to right and compare them. Well, they all have 0 in the ones place. They all have 0 in the tenths place. These two have a 0 in the 100ths place, but this one has a 7, so I know that this is the largest. Each of the others have a 0, so I cannot use the tenths place to compare those two numbers. And again, since this one's the largest, I can cross it out. I'm only looking at these other two now. When I move to the thousandths place, they both have a 7, so that is an equal value. I now need to move on to the next place, and this is the one that I added a 0 in down here. This number has a 0 in the 10,000ths place. This one has a 1 in the 10,000ths place, so this is the smallest number. That must mean this number is in the middle. When I move down to this list, I'm going to handle it the exact same way. I'm going to stack the numbers vertically to make my decision, and I will line up the decimal points when I do it. Some students will prefer to try to do problems like this in their head, and I will urge you not to do that at this point until you get comfortable with your place value. I'm going to work again from left to right. These numbers all have a 2 in the tens place, so those are irrelevant. When I move to the ones place, 3 of the numbers have a 6, but this one has a 7, so I know that it is the largest number. And I will cross it out. Now I'm only going to be comparing the other 3 numbers. In the ones place, they all have a 6, so I now need to move over into the tenths place. They also all have a 6 in the tenths place, so I now need to move over into the 100ths place. These two numbers have a 3 in the 100th place, which is equal, but this one has a 0, so now I know this is the smallest number. And I'll cancel that out. Now I'm only looking at these two, and again I handled the 3's in the 100ths place, so now I'm looking in the thousandths place. This number has a 1 in the thousandths place, and this number has a 0 in the thousandths place. So if I were going to rank all 4 numbers from least to greatest, I know that this one is the smallest, this one is the largest of the 4, and now this one with a 0 is going to be the second smallest, and then this one will be the next largest from there.